10 things you probably didn't know about psychology. This will include a wide range of things, including little psychological tricks and little tidbits of information about psychology. Psychology is the study of mental processes and behavior. A common misconception about psychology is that it's synonymous with psychiatry. It is not. Psychiatry is a distinct medical specialism. All psychiatrists have a medical degree that is fundamentally concerned with mental disorder. Being a psychologist also doesn't give you the ability to read minds and psychoanalyze everyone you meet. The Benjamin Franklin effect is a good way to trick people into liking you. The story goes that Franklin had a political opponent who didn't like him very much, until one day Franklin noticed he had a rare book in his library and asked this opponent of his to borrow it. Upon returning the item, the man was more agreeable with Benjamin Franklin, and they were on good terms with one another. If someone does a favor for you, they are likely to rationalize that you must have been worth doing the favor for, and decide that therefore they must like you as well. Animals have distinct personalities. Animal researchers have found animals from nearly every species of animal, from spiders to birds to elephants, have their own personalities with preferences, behaviors, and quirks that persist throughout life. While critics of this claim just say that researchers are just putting human traits to animals, animal personality researchers have the ability to identify consistent behavioral patterns that can be realistically measured and tested. The aim high approach is a trick that involves asking for way more than you want at first, then later on scaling it back to the request you actually wanted in the first place. The idea behind this is that the person will feel bad for refusing your first request, and will be more willing and obligated to accept a reasonable request. Tests on this principle always go over extremely well, just as long as the same person asks for both the bigger and smaller favor, because the person feels obligated to help you and not anyone else. The words introvert and shyness are commonly used interchangeably since both are related to socializing, but they are actually very different. Shyness is the fear of socializing, while introversion is the lack of interest in it. The difference between the two is motivation. An introvert is uninterested in social activities, while an extrovert loves them. But both an introvert and an extrovert can choose to behave like each other, if they so please, while a shy person cannot turn their shyness off and on. Flattery is all it's cracked up to be. If you want someone to like you, flattery is a great way to do it. While it may seem obvious, there are some rules to it. For one, if your flattery comes across as not sincere, it will actually do more harm than good. Nobody likes a kiss ass. You just have to be very smart about the way you do it. Flattery also doesn't work on everyone. If you flatter someone who has high self-esteem, there's a higher chance it will be seen as sincere since you're just validating how they feel about themselves. But if you flatter someone with low self-esteem, there's a chance it will actually cause them to like you less because it goes against how they see themselves. People love their names. While it may be difficult to remember the names of people you meet, I know I'm pretty bad at it myself, but if you can use their names in future conversations without them mentioning it, they will like you a lot more. The reason being, a person's name is a core part of our identity, and hearing it validates our existence, which makes us more inclined to feel positively about the person who validated us. Don't correct people when they are wrong. Telling someone they are wrong is usually unnecessary and makes them do the opposite of liking you. There is a way to show disagreement and turn it into a polite conversation. It's a simple trick. Instead of arguing, listen to what they have to say and try to understand how they feel and why. Then explain the common ground you two share. It's also a lot easier just to ignore the mistake, just as long as you don't correct them. The best way to learn is to teach. If you think you understand something, try teaching it to someone else or pretend to. You'll quickly find out what you don't know and reinforce the knowledge you already have. Subtly nod during a conversation. Scientists have found that when people nod while listening to something, they are more likely to be in agreement with it. They also have discovered that when someone is nodding a lot in front of them, it is natural for them to do the same. So if you want to be extra convincing, nod regularly throughout the conversation. The person you are talking to will find it hard not to nod themselves, and they will start to feel agreeable toward what you are saying without even knowing it.